Mercy, but it's hot. All the grass is burnt up, and the brooks are dry, and the roads are dusty. It hasn't rained for weeks and weeks. This letter sounds as though I had hydrophobia, but I haven't. I just want some family. Goodbye, my dearest Daddy. I wish I knew you, Judy. Lock Willow, 19th September. Dear Daddy. Something has happened and I need advice. I need it from you, and from nobody else in the world. Wouldn't it be possible for me to see you? It's so much easier to talk than to write, and I'm afraid your secretary might open the letter. Judy. P.S. I'm very unhappy. Lock Willow, 3rd October. Dear Daddy Longlegs. Your note written in your own hand, and a pretty wobbly hand, came this morning. I am so sorry that you have been ill. I wouldn't have bothered you with my affairs if I had known. Yes, I will tell you the trouble, but it's sort of complicated to write, and very private. Please don't keep this letter, but burn it. Before I begin, here's a check for $1,000. It seems funny, doesn't it, for me to be sending a check to you? Where do you think I got it? I've sold my story, Daddy. It's going to be published serially in 7 parts, and then in a book. You might think I'd be wild with joy, but I'm not. I'm entirely apathetic. Of course, I'm glad to begin paying you. I owe you over 2,000 more. It's coming in installments. Now don't be horrid, please, about taking it, because it makes me happy to return it. I owe you a great deal more than the mere money, and the rest I will continue to pay all my life in gratitude and affection. And now, Daddy, about the other thing. Please give me your most worldly advice, whether you think I like it or not. You know that I've always had a very special feeling towards you. You sort of represented my whole family, but you won't mind, will you, if I tell you that I have a very much more special feeling for another man? You can probably guess without much trouble who he is. I suspect that my letters have been very full of Master Jervy for a very long time. I wish I could make you understand what he is like and how entirely companionable we are. We think the same about everything. I am afraid I have a tendency to make over my ideas to match his. But he is almost always right. He ought to be, you know, for he is 14 years start of me. In other ways, though, he's just an overgrown boy, and he does need looking after. He hasn't any sense about wearing rubbers when it rains. He and I always think the same things are funny, and that is such a lot. It's dreadful when two people's senses of humor are antagonistic. I don't believe there's any bridging that gulf. And he is. Oh well. He is just himself, and I miss him, and miss him, and miss him. The whole world seems empty and aching. I hate the moonlight because it's beautiful and he isn't here to see it with me. But maybe you've loved somebody too, and you know. If you have, I don't need to explain. If you haven't, I can't explain. Anyway, that's the way I feel, and I've refused to marry him. I didn't tell him why. I was just dumb and miserable. I couldn't think of anything to say. And now he has gone away imagining that I want to marry Jimmy McBride. I don't in the least. I wouldn't think of marrying Jimmy. He isn't grown up enough. But Master Jervy and I got into a dreadful muddle of misunderstanding, and we both hurt each other's feelings. The reason I sent him away was not because I didn't care for him, but because I cared for him so much. I was afraid he would regret it in the future, and I couldn't stand that. It didn't seem right for a person of my lack of antecedents to marry into any such family as his.